Hi, my name is Valerie, and this is my 21st video on my no-poo experience. My first no-shampoo shower was on June 1st of 2019. I used baking soda and apple cider vinegar, and it dried my hair and scalp out and made my scalp kind of itchy, so I decided that that wasn't for me. My last recorded video was on March 2nd of 2020, and I used clay. And it felt really nice, but it left a residue in my hair which collected oil really quickly, and I even used it on my skin, and while it felt nice, my skin decided it didn't like it, and I now have some acne on my face. Today is March 8th of 2020, and I'm going to try using a new ingredient, fermented rice water, which is an old Asian tradition.
Making fermented rice water is a whole process. I started out by putting my rice in a bowl and I covered it with water and just swished it around until it got cloudy, which is the starch coming off of the rice. Then I strained it out and put my liquid into this jug. It's been sitting at room temperature for about 3 days and it has a slightly sour smell to it. And it has some bubbles, so I definitely know that it's been fermenting. Now I get to put it on the stove on high heat and boil it for about a minute to make sure that I kill off all of those bacteria. The idea is to make the water fermented, not turn it into a wine or a vinegar. Now that it's cooled off enough that I can put it in a container, it's time to put it in the fridge to cool off all the way. So the article says that the person uses 1.5 cups of our fermented rice water to 10 to 12 cups of warm water, and that if you have very oily hair, you should dilute it even more. I have 10 cups of warm water in my bowl already, and I will just add 1.5 cups of the fermented rice water to that bowl, and then I'll clean my hair with it. Even though I only added 1.5 cups of the fermented rice water to the 10 cups of the warm water, it's still pretty cloudy looking. So I am hoping that this will clean my hair. We'll see. The clay had coated my hair and that caught up a lot of oil. As you can see, it's like really dark compared to last time. It's very stringy and just it feels oily and heavy compared to last time when it was still very soft. I had to put my hair in braids to keep it looking somewhat decent. And the oil does, the oil does peter out right about here, but I think that's just because it was all being caught by the clay up here, so it didn't really get to go down the shaft of the hair very far. Well, I really hope that the fermented rice water can clean this out and make me look like a clean person again. Applying the fermented rice water mix to my hair was actually pretty easy. Because I had such a big bowl, I was able to actually kneel down and take all of my ponytail hair to the front and stick it in the water. And then I just used my measuring cup from before and just continued to pour it over my head and massage it in. And it got to the point where I said, you know what, I think I can stick my whole head in here. So I did. I just stuck the top of my head in there and just kind of massaged it and kept trying to clean it out. And at first it did. It felt like it was getting really clean. And I said, oh great, I can just keep massaging it in for a little while longer, see if I can get it really, really clean. And as I kept doing that, I realized that it was starting to feel like it was getting coated again. Now there's two possibilities, because once I brought my hair out and squeezed it out, I realized the inside of the bowl was kind of gray and cloudy, so I'm thinking that excess clay came out of my hair. So it could have been that with the prolonged reuse of that water, I was actually putting it back on my hair and it was recoating it. Or the water is made from rice, so that means the starch has come off of the rice and is floating in the water. If we remember way back when I was in the Adirondacks, I used an alternative flour that was made from starches, and it did coat my hair because wet starch tends to cling to everything. So there's a possibility that when I was continuing to wash my hair, that those particles of starch coated my hair, and I am hoping that it doesn't look the same or worse as it did before I took my shower, being clumpy and kind of stiff. But I'm hoping that it will, when it dries, it will, be a little less stiff and that it'll look clean, and we'll see how that goes. Well, my hair is dry and it definitely looks a lot less dark than it did before I showered, but it is still stiff. It does feel like it has a coating to it, and as you can tell, it is still clumpy and stringy looking, and it just doesn't want to stay nice looking. So when I brushed out my hair, I got this white powder all over my brush, which tells me that yes, it was coated with the starch that came from the rice. So I have a feeling if I was going to continue to use this, it would be like honey, where the more I use it, the more I get used to it and it works better. But I don't think I would want to use this again for my hair because it does feel a little bit greasy still, and I think my hair is just too fine and too oily for this recipe. So if you have hair that is a bit more coarse and a bit more dry, this might actually work really well for you. And I hope that if you do try it, it does work better for you than it did for me, and that you have a nice rest of your day.